Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew has revealed the cost associated with searching a landfill north of the city of Winnipeg for the remains of 2 First Nation women. A feasibility study released in July of 2023 found the search at Prairie Green Landfill for Morgan Harris and Mercedes Myron could cost anywhere between $84 million and $184 million. That same study said the search could take up to 3 years and that a successful outcome could not be guaranteed. The search at Prairie Green Landfill officially ended last month. Earlier this year, the remains of both Myron and Harris were located just months into the search. Kinew said the cost of the search was $18 million. Far below the initial estimates. In a statement to APTN News, Kinew said, quote, "The search at Prairie Green Landfill included the highest standard of health and safety for the workers, with trauma-informed mental health supports. Most importantly, the landfill search was successful in returning Mercedes Myron and Morgan Harris home. The PCs and their leader should tell Manitobans why they put up billboard ads exaggerating the cost of the search by 10 times. A spokesperson for the PC caucus in a statement to APTN News said the $184 million cost estimate was contained in a study commissioned by the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs, not a dollar figure produced by the PCs. The statement goes on to say, quote, "As you are aware, former Premier Stephenson, interim leader Iwasko, and PC leader Abi Khan have all apologized for the 2023 election campaign and the harm it caused to the victims' families. The party did not respond to a question about the amount of money spent on the advertising campaign opposing the landfill search." An urban reserve in Winnipeg is taking its first critical step with the federal government's help. The large, mostly empty space, formerly known as the Capyon Barracks, will move into its design phase thanks to an investment from Indigenous Services Canada. Sab Jonesa has more.
The largest multi-use project in Winnipeg's modern history is gaining momentum.
What we're doing here has never been seen before or has been experienced across Canada. A 109-acre property that is right in the middle of the most affluent community in Winnipeg.
Still in its early stages, the Nawe-Odina Urban Reserve is taking its first critical step forward, thanks to help from the Government of Canada. The 109-acre swath of land on what used to be an army base will receive almost $800,000 in additional money from Indigenous Services. The money will help cover 45% of the costs related to infrastructure design for roads, lighting, sewer systems, and plumbing for some sections of the property.
Located in the single largest Indigenous economic zone in Canada, it is a monumental step forward to integrating Indigenous culture and business into Winnipeg's urban fabric and providing opportunities for future generations.
ISC Minister Manny Golmasti says the investment aligns with Canada's plan to address the national housing crisis. Nearly 5,000 housing units will be built on the site along with businesses and other developments.
Housing, commercial development, education, health, and community space are critical for First Nations. Nawe-Odina stands as one of the largest and most ambitious First Nations-led economic development projects in Canadian history.
Nawe-Odina is being developed by the Treaty 1 Development Corporation, a partnership of 7 First Nations. The project began in 2019 and has received a total of $5.5 million in funding from Canada so far. Broken Head Ojibwe Nation Chief Gordon Bluesky says it is important the project has city, provincial, and federal support to succeed.
I think it's important for all levels of government to see this urban economic First Nation zone being successful, because it just allows to show what working together looks like.
A gas station and convenience store opened on the property this June. It may take more than a decade to finish the project in full. Sab Jonesa, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
And Minister Golmasti will join us here in studio later in the show. To the north now, and a man suspected of stabbing another man in Behchoko, Northwest Territories this week has been caught. On the morning of August 19th, Behchoko RCMP responded to a call of 2 men fighting. Upon arrival, officers found one man on the ground with multiple stab wounds. The lone suspect had fled the scene. First aid was provided to the victim until paramedics arrived. 24-year-old Keanu Lafferty of Behchoko has been charged with aggravated assault in connection with the incident. The victim's name and condition have not been released. Anyone with further information is asked to contact Behchoko RCMP. Still in Behchoko, 2 people are in custody after police found drugs in their vehicle during a traffic stop. On August 17th, Behchoko RCMP stopped a vehicle for a sobriety test on the driver. They found cannabis in the vehicle. Upon further inspection, officers found approximately 286 grams of suspected crack cocaine. 19-year-old Brock Mercury of Yellowknife and a 16-year-old male youth who cannot be named were charged with possession of a controlled substance for the purposes of trafficking. They appeared before a justice of the peace and were remanded into custody. Anyone with info on this matter is also asked to contact Behchoko RCMP. The Chilcotin Nation put out a press release this week warning that Chinook salmon are still at risk from the 2024 Chilco landslide. The rockfall risk at Negwentland is a threat to our salmon, our safety, and our way of life, said Francis Lachise, Vice Chief of the Chilcotin National Government, in the press release. On July 30th, 2024, a landslide fully blocked the Chilco during the key migration period for sockeye and Chinook salmon. A high-risk tension crack has appeared on the slope above Farewell Canyon, and according to the Nation, it is expected to fail soon, creating a rock slide that could block the salmon migration beyond the canyon. An emergency salmon task force has been created, comprised of Chilcotin National Government, BC Government, and the Department of Fisheries and Oceans. They are actively working with the Pacific Salmon Commission to monitor the situation. First Nation School Board in Yukon says it's starting the school year with the lowest vacancy for teachers since its inception in 2022. As of August 1st, the board has 8.5 vacancies out of 179 positions across its 11 schools. Those numbers include teachers, principals, vice principals, First Nation language teachers, and educational assistants. The board reports there were 25 vacancies at the start of the school year in 2024 and 23 in 2023. Board Chair Dana Tiza-Tram says they filled the vacancies by cutting their hiring bureaucracy and providing extra literacy and numeracy coaches for students.
The way that First Nation School Board is approaching this, not from a budget lens, but from what meets our students' needs and supporting teachers, we feel is that recipe that draws the excitement of educators who really want to be a part of something innovative with a school board that's blazing all new trails in education.
At the same time, the Yukon government, which only includes teachers, principals, and vice principals in its vacancy count, is reporting that 95% of their 165 positions are filled as of August 1st. School starts August 25th. Time for a quick break, and then Indigenous Services Minister Mandy Galmasti will join us here in studio. Stick around. Welcome back. Joining us now in studio is Mandy Galmasti, the Minister of Indigenous Services Canada. Minister, appreciate you taking some time for us while you're here in Winnipeg. We attended your 2 announcements here in the city. No doubt you've also met with Premier Kinew, and I imagine you've been meeting with many politicians and others behind closed doors. What have you been hearing when it comes to priorities while here in the city?
Thank you for inviting me. It is my first time in Manitoba. I really appreciate the leadership that has sat with me, shared with me their priorities, spoken to me about the different files. There's always those huge pressing issues that we hear regarding Jordan's principle, the decision that we saw came in yesterday, and a lot of talk around C5. I came here to really, see how things are going with evacuees. We have a number that are still here. Had the opportunity to see some go home, so that repatriation process was really rewarding to see. A lot of different discussions, but hosted very well.
No doubt a lot on your table. While you were here, as you mentioned, the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal issued a ruling urging Canada back to the negotiation table on a national child welfare reform package. Negotiations have not happened for nearly a year. The tribunal has given Canada a little over a week to respond. Will Canada be resuming negotiations?
The decision that came in was one that was welcomed by me. I've had the opportunity to be briefed with a short period of information, a short period of time and some information. I intend to return to Ottawa and really look into this file to see what is that next step. Where is government going to go? The obligation and the duty to take care of Indigenous children really something that is very important to me. Also, as a former Indigenous leader, I've had the opportunity to hear from leadership from across Canada. So different communities have come forward with their vision of what they think the best path forward is for their kids. I'm looking to hear and engage with leadership. Where do they want to go? What do they want to see? This file will move forward, and there are critical discussions to be had.
So heading back to the table?
We are requested to do so. I think it's the honorable next step to do. I think it is an important file to push forward, yes.
On the other side of that, I guess, some major cuts are expected at Indigenous services, funding coming to an end on some programs. Are you concerned about cutting potentially hundreds of millions of dollars or upwards of $1 billion from Indigenous services?
For us, we're really trying to ensure that we are focusing on two things. That's efficiency of how we operate. It's my priority to ensure that we give a better, more timely service to community when they come to Indigenous Services Canada. In addition, it's effectiveness, really doing that analysis to see, are the programs that we have in place reaching their mark? Are they having the maximum impact that communities want them to have? We have prioritized in our budget process looking at our internal operations as one area where we want that refinement to come forward. The second one is looking at those programs that are sunsetting. We are tabulating that in what public is calling the cuts. For me, it's really ensuring that we're refining the service that we offer in a very effective methodology that aligns with the priorities of the community. So that's our goal. I hope that First Nations leadership is going to be working with me to really reflect this new reality and vision that Indigenous Services Canada wants to bring forward as something that I hope is going to be permanent in this ministry.
Wanted to touch on the future of Jordan's principle. Again, the federal government is fighting a federal court ruling that found your department wrongfully denied funding to a First Nations grandmother trying to fix the mold in her on-reserve home where she lives with her grandchildren. That case alone could impact thousands of children. What are some of the concerns that you have with Jordan's principle?
I think my primary concern when I became a minister was really hearing leadership addressing what is going to happen. I also heard very strongly, the messages from the family of Jordan River Anderson really speaking about what the legacy of their son's mark is for Indigenous children in Canada, and trying to find the balance between the needs, wants, desires of what community is trying to do and really uphold and honor that legacy is something that's very important to me as a minister. I've had a lot of community engagements, I've had a lot of dialogue with chief and councils, even with service delivery providers, asking them, what can we do to ensure that we bring this program back to what it is truly intended to do, which is to help those children that are falling in the gap. Along the way, this program has evolved. It has taken different shapes, but really trying to refine it and have it truly reflect what that legacy is meant to be is the direction that we're going to be going with this critical file. It's one of the most urgent for me. It was really top line in how I wanted to address my mandate.
Minister, just super quick here. You mentioned C5, no doubt a big issue. I had a chance to interview the Prime Minister a couple of weeks ago. He thought that people were First Nations. It was just after the summit. They were pretty in favor of C5. Not a lot of opposition, he was saying. What have you been hearing now that the 3 summits have wrapped up and you've had a chance to meet with people on the ground?
What I heard was a very clear message that they wanted to be the deciding party in how they would move forward should they have an interest to have a project. And I think that's reflected in the way that the bill is written. There's 5 criteria. One of them is the required involvement and interest of Indigenous peoples. So should community have the desire to put forward a project, something that can be assessed with having the likelihood of occurring, financing, shovel ready, having that national impact on the economy, those things are really critical. I think that what I've also heard from community is the realization that they have the opportunity to help support the situation that we're in. And that's really a critical economic situation that has a lot of impact. Yes, we're seeing it right now in steel and aluminum and those industries along the border, but those impacts will eventually reach community. And we want to be sure that we're doing everything that we can to work with them to not get to that point.
Minister Gilmasti, we'll have to leave it there. Appreciate you taking some time for us.
Thank you.
A hip-hop group on the East Coast is set to release their 10th album. That story and more still to come. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. And it was the calm before the storm when Darcy snapped this photo of lightning crackling in the sky as seen from just north of Ross Thurn Valley Regional Park in Saskatchewan. If you have a photo you want to share, email it to share@aptn.ca for the chance to be our next photo of the day. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecasts. Starting on the East Coast, cloudy and 21 in Fredericton, 22 with cloud in Halifax, 9 in Kuujjuaq, 12 in Nain, 22 with cloud in Montreal, 17 under sunny skies in Val-d'Or, 23 with the sun out in Sault Ste. Marie, 21 with the sun in North Bay, cloudy and 16 in Thunder Bay, 20 and sunny in Sioux Lookout, cloudy and 17 in God's Lake and Norway House, 25 in Winnipeg, cloudy and 20 in Dauphin, showers and 31 for Regina, sun's out and 31 in Saskatoon, 13 in La Ronge, 18 in Meadow Lake. In northern Alberta, 14 in Fort Chipewyan, sunny, and 25 in Fort McMurray. 27 and sunny in Edmonton, 30 in Medicine Hat under sunny skies, 19 in Vancouver, sunny, and 22 in Kamloops. 19 with the sun out in Prince George, smoky, and 12 in Fort Nelson. 9 in Old Crow, showers, and 14 in Whitehorse. Smoky and 10 in Trout Lake, 16 with showers in Yellowknife. 6 in Sax Harbor, showers, and 10 in Pawlatuck. 13 in Chesterfield and Baker Lake. 5 in Resolute, sunny, and 8 in Arctic Bay. The University of Manitoba's Max Rady College of Medicine had the class of 2029's White Coat ceremony, where first-year students read the physician's pledge and receive their white coats. This year, the university had almost a dozen Indigenous students say their pledge and receive their coats. Julia Ross spoke with the excited medical students.
The University of Manitoba had their white coat ceremony on Wednesday, where students received their coats symbolizing the start of their medical profession journey.
Jessie McGregor.
Jessie McGregor is from Mississippiwaystic Cree Nation and graduated high school in Norway House Cree Nation in Manitoba. He receives his white coat as a part of the class of 2029 for the University of Manitoba's Max Rady College of Medicine.
I'm pretty ecstatic. This has been a long time coming. I left home when I was 17 years old up north, and it's been 8 years since that time, and my journey's been quite a windy road, and now it's finally here.
McGregor says that he wants to pursue medicine to help communities up north.
And if the stars align, I'd like to give back to the north, essentially. I'm originally from Mississippi Cree Nation, or Grand Rapids, and I also have really close ties to Kinew CP Cree Nation, or Norrie House, Manitoba. I graduated high school in Norrie House, or HBO IERC, and that community just opened up a brand new hospital, so I would love to work there one day.
The class of 2029 is the biggest class in the history of the university, with 136 receiving their white coats.
It's truly an honor to be welcoming you this year. You comprise our largest incoming medical school class in history with 136 students.
Hallie Cochran also received her white coat at the ceremony.
My sister's the first doctor from our reserve. I'm from Fish River Cree Nation, so I'm following in her footsteps, and my plan is to become a family doctor and then work on reserves in Canada.
She says that she plans to create a safe space for Indigenous people to be seen by an Indigenous doctor with her practice.
Most of my relatives have never been treated by an Indigenous doctor, and I haven't. And I think that's really something that I want to bring to my practice and make a safe space for my relatives and people like me.
The class of 2029 has a total of 11 Indigenous students beginning their journey into the medical profession. Julia Ross, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Congrats to all of them. East Coast First Nation rapping group City Natives is recording their 10th album. With over 90,000 streams on Spotify, City Natives says this album will be the best to come. As Angel Moore reports, it's to inspire people living in First Nations communities.
Made it out alive, but it's hard to survive in the city when all you know is res life.
Blake Francis is from the Nada-Wananeg Mi'kmaq Nation. He is one of 3 members of the hip-hop band City Natives. They are recording their 10th album at a studio called Classified in Enfield, Nova Scotia.
This time around, we just want to get things right and put out our best body of work. We have one of the best producers in Canada, and we're in a great position to make some of the best music we've ever made in our lives.
City Natives was formed back in 2013 and have since won over 16 awards.
Look at me now, look at the rain. I am the king, breaking the chains. Cannot be tamed, cannot be changed.
This is called For the Res, featured on the album Still Chiefin, awarded Rap Hip Hop Recording of the Year at the 2024 East Coast Music Awards, the 2nd year in a row for City Natives, a first for an Indigenous band. Despite the awards, City Natives rapper Shelby Sapir, who is from the Nadgudkuk Wolastoqey Nation, says City Natives is his family.
Growing up, I was pretty out of line, so to speak. I was sent away as a young teen, so that's kind of what saved my life, was writing lyrics, and it kind of took me out of a dark place. So since then, it's literally been my therapy, so to speak.
Sapir says music can help people reach for their dreams.
We want to show people that it's possible to achieve a dream that seems small-minded sometimes, when it doesn't seem obtainable. So I think what we try to do is convey a message that, we came from nothing, and to become something is possible.
Francis says City Natives was formed to inspire people who live in First Nations communities.
Basically, when we started City Natives, none of us are from the city. We all are born and raised on the reservation. But the meaning behind the name is that we went to the city and we made a name for ourselves, and we want to inspire kids on the reservation. You don't have to be from a big city to get heard around the nation or around.
The album is yet to be named and is expected to be released in early 2026. Angel Moore, APTN National News, Enfield, Nova Scotia.
It's all the news we can fit. I'm Dennis Ward. Thanks for being with us. Have a great night.